Ferris wheel, and it's a very flat part of the city. And there is the parliament with the beautiful cupola again. So there is a regulation, nothing can be taller than the foot of the parliament and the basilica, the bridges.
So which is the green building?
That's the palace.
That's the palace?
Yeah, palace, which was rebuilt after the Second World War and after the several sieges as well. The train bridge, the Margaret Bridge with the Margaret Island behind it, that's the big bushes.
Oh, so
over
it's
there.
further in the back, yes.
Yeah,
Got it.
The nice location of Budapest. Very pretty.
Now I see a black tower straight out that way, next to the two white towers. What is that building?
You mean the parliament?
Yeah, that's Parliament.
There's the parliament, so the big cupola.
Yeah.
Over there, there's the parliament building. And that's the basilica over there. 96 meter high cupolas. It's a symbolic number. It refers to the Hungarian settlement, which happened in 896.
Oh, okay. Danube, and we'll be on one of those later this week.
So the Liberty statue, which was ordered by Commander Vorosilov, who was the commander of the liberating Soviet army, and he wanted to remind Hungarians of this action that they were liberated by the Soviets. And the nickname of this statue became Battle Opener, because it looks like that.
Looks like a bottle opener, yeah.
Bottle opener. So it became like a symbol of Budapest. So it was very hard to think about what to do with it after the communist collapse. And we thought it would be nice to keep it. Just we moved all the Soviet soldiers from the bottom to a statue park, which is outside, a little bit outside of Budapest. And we left this nice statue on the top of the hill.
So these are the hussars. So we're on the Buda side, and this is the Danube River. And we're looking at the Pest side, Pest.
With the weather. So
well, at least it's not raining.
Yeah, and it's nice. So the Fisherman's Bastion was built here on the castle wall, because this part of the castle wall was protected by the Fishermen's Guild, and the fish markets were nearby. So that's why the Danube was not regulated before, and it looked very different. and it was close to the Danube once. The Matthias Church with the beautiful tiles on the top. It was made by a Hungarian manufactory. It's a very special pyrogranite material, or granite, which is an amazing building. It's in a new Gothic style, but also it was built on Renaissance plans, and the cupola is new Renaissance. So
this is the part.
hard to decide sometimes what style you
want to classify it.
Yeah, and because it was made from limestone and not the best quality, so then now they replaced it with a better quality, and also here they just washed everything. It's
So
just
this is
interesting for the
excavations
historians because
that
they
after
saw
the Turks built on top of it, and Soviets and everybody built on top,
right next to
they
the
found
palace,
out this
you
was
know?
an ancient
It was,
Jewish
for the
district.
money that they needed for
That
the Jewish
time,
community. Yeah. So they just took the money. And it turned out that that big building, which we thought that it was a Dominican city of the prime minister there.
So this used to be an ancient synagogue and then became a Dominican convent.
And next to it, that's our White House with the president, you know,
Which
the
is that
resident. Yeah, this
That's
is
the White House,
White House.
where the president lives.
The residence of the president, but he's just a figurehead, so he's not the important person.
Okay.
The prime minister is the boss here, so he's more just representing.
Oh, the gates, 1960s. But when was the palace built?
The palace was built as a fortress in the 13th century, and then it was always extended, rebuilt during the centuries. It was the most beautiful during the reign of King Matthias in the 15th century as a Renaissance palace. According to the chroniclers, we don't know because we don't have any picture. A big socialist type building called the Mausoleum, and that's what the Hungarian architects, designers, they just refused, which was a very brave thing. If you think that in the 50s you never refused anything what
With the
told by
Soviets.
the leaders, yeah. But it was a brave thing. You know, he was traveling incognito according to the legend, and he liked to meet these peasant girls in the forest.
Ah.
He was a naughty man, but he liked hunting. Hardly visible, but that's our angel on the top, Archangel Gabriel, holding the double cross with the Holy Crown as well. It symbolizes the Hungarian Christian kingdom. And according to the legend, he appeared in the dream of the Pope Sylvester II, who was in charge at 1000, and told him to give the crown from the Pope of Rome.
And what year was that?
And he was crowned at in 1000. So it's an easy date to remember that we believe that he was crowned at on the 1st of January.
Okay, and this is Hero Square from 1896, celebrating 1,000 years of
Hungarian settlement. Here, so symbolic statues on the top. That's war, the man with the snake in his hand, you know, and the lady with the palm tree. That's peace. Here is is knowledge and glory on the right hand side on the
This
top.
one's knowledge and
And
glory.
over there, the man with the sickle, that's work and welfare. You know, I think that the lady is the work, but
Well, is there welfare in
it's much better than the Transylvanian castle.
This is the Transylvanian castle.
And inside, it's very interesting because there are different styles. So we don't have many Gothic, Renaissance, and Romanesque remains because they were destroyed by the Turks or by the Habsburgs. But here, you can have an idea how they look like. Just imagine how they look like. And Mercedes is on the southern part.
There's a Mercedes and Audi.
Yeah. So that's the neo-Baroque part. You know, a little bit.
that's the
Condition.
like no.
Yeah, they should do something about it. But they always shoot films here. So
That
now
makes sense.
Bollywood also is recognizable in the film.
Wow.
It was a love story, which was.
That's right. I'll be the only one.
Yeah. From Saudi, almost 90, and it's 167 Fahrenheit.
So this is the spa, and the heat comes from the ground. And what year was this from?
So the water was found on the Hero Square. So first there was a big well over there, and it was in the 1880s, and then they.
This is inside the thermal baths, the spa.
The entrance hall.
This is the entrance hall.
Yeah, these allegorical pictures of the importance of water.
How late did they open?
Almost 10. So some of the pictures here, many of them from the 56th revolution, because after the 56th revolution there was a big punishment, big revenge, and people were killed.
So this is
Taken
the
here,
Terror
prisoners,
Museum.
and
So we're now in the Parliament building. It's all gold.
The building is symmetrical. This symmetrical structure conforms to the functions of bicameral parliament. This northern wing was used by the upper house or the Senate, while the southern wing used the lower house or House of Commons. Since 19
This is the main entrance of the Parliament. This was the architect.
The series is located basically House of Lords. It was the same. This garden was
So this is the upper house of Parliament in Hungary, Budapest.
Jewish people. Now, I don't know if any of you have visited St. Stephen's Basilica, perhaps. Designed by the same architect, and after the first architect of the Basilica died, he was a good architect, he just messed up with the math, Mr. Hill. So when they were taking the scaffolding off, curiosity, right? I mean, it was the thing to do.
The Budapest Opera House.
Opera house built in Hungary, so it was a symbol more, I think, of modernity than anything else.
So I guess everybody has to sit on the floor.
No, they had seats. I was here when there was a concert.
Ah, so there were seats.
There were a city of about 1.7 million.
And this is the royal box.
It fills up. But there's another stage as well. That's almost always full as well. Right over here, English group, please. We have quite a few groups in the building, as you can tell, so it's important to stick together. And you actually have a very good view from over here. So if you just seat yourself on this thing over here, well, you can go ahead and grab that single seat there. So, any other questions before we finish up? If not, that pretty much concludes our tour. It was a pleasure having you.
So this is the Great Synagogue of Budapest. And Theodor Herzl was actually born in a house here, and they tore down the house to build the synagogue.
Very much like a Christian temple. First of all, the Ark of Covenant and the Bima is together on the eastern wall. It looks like a little bit like an altar in a Christian temple. Plus the pulpits, which were used and still in use. So on the two sides, pulpits that were like in, what is the organ, which was more in front.
Yes.
So after the renovation in the 90s, they put it a little bit to the back.
Not as prominent.
Yeah, not that prominent. But what do you think? Who can play an organ? Is it a Jewish or not? Because when it's Shabbat, you cannot play the organ.
Yeah.
So altogether, it was a very
The same architect do the outside and the inside?
no. Actually, inside there was a Hungarian man who supported, who helped the work of the job of the designer. So the designer of the architect was Ludwig Förster, and then the Hungarian designer who supported the interior, and it was in the romantic style, as they called it.
So synagogue seated 3,000 people,
So
the largest synagogue in Europe.
different guy, but it was such a
I know it's because it was white.
So this is reform, but it's more than reform. They call it neo-log, which is the equivalent of conservative almost. This is the Heroes Temple that was built by the Jewish Synagogue to commemorate the 100,000 Hungarian Jews who were soldiers and killed during World War I. Over 1 million Hungarians were killed during World War I. These are the Jews that were killed in front of the synagogue during World War II, and they were found in the street, and when the Soviets came in, they saw the bodies in the street and they brought them into the garden of the synagogue to bury them. This is the memorial to Hannah Senesh.
Well, to support the work of the I think she was like a spy, and she was considered to be a spy as well. So it was designed by Sándor and Béla Löffler, the two brothers. They were the designers, and it was built between 1911 and 1930.
And this is the Orthodox synagogue. So this is the Orthodox synagogue inside.
And so what you can see, the bima is in the middle and the ark is on the front. So it's according to the Orthodox law. So the Great Market Hall was built in 1896 because they wanted to build a nice metropolis from Budapest, and the number of inhabitants grew very, very fast. And it was necessary to have a big market, a covered market, solving the hygienic problems of the smaller markets as well. And how they make it on special material. And so Hangyu was the idea of two sculptures in Hungary, Hungarian artists, in 2015. For those people who were shot into the Danube here in 45 by the Hungarian Aero Cross Party soldiers, who just marched these people. Most of them were considered to be Jewish. Not all of them were Jewish, so some of them were converted into Christianity, but they were staying here. Three of them were put together, so stringed together, and then the one in the middle was shot to save bullets, and then the other two.
So now we're on a private boat ride on the Danube River. So this one is the chain bridge.
The palace, the royal palace.
Royal Palace. This is Parliament. So the birds must be homing pigeons, bringing in signals from far and away. So here we are at the Budapest train station on our way to Vienna.